Welcome back to Meadow Green Homestead. Today I wanted to show you how we make chicken stock. We raise our own meat chickens here, so we like to take advantage of using every part of that bird to our advantage. A way to do that is to make chicken stock from the carcass. So just about once a week I end up roasting a whole chicken, and then what you're left with is the carcass and the bones. So you can use that to make a chicken stock, which you can can, and then it lasts up to a year, and it's great to have on hand. You can use that chicken stock to make cream of chicken soup, which is called for in many recipes. The easiest way to make the stock is to use a crock pot or a slow cooker. So I'm going to get my carcass out, get it in here, and start adding ingredients. So this is not a strict recipe by any means. The way we do it is we add about 2 stalks of celery, 2 carrots, about a half an onion or so. And the great thing about this is you don't have to use a strict amount of vegetables. You can use what you have on hand. You can use the ends of vegetables, because what's going to happen is all that's going to be strained out at the end. So you're just trying to get the flavor out of those. I add salt. I like celery salt, but you do not need to add salt if you prefer not to. About a half a teaspoon of rosemary, half a teaspoon of thyme, and about 1 or 1.5 bay leaves. And then we fill it with water to the brim, and then you're going to want to let that cook for at least 8 hours. I do mine overnight because it's just easiest that way. So we'll come back in the morning when this is done cooking, and I'll show you how we can it. Now that this has been simmering for 12 hours, the next step is to transfer all the liquid into a bowl, and you want to strain all the solid material out of the liquid. So how I found the best way to do that is to use something to scoop it out, a mesh strainer that can hook over the bowl, or you can hold it and just pour it right through. And sometimes you have to do it more than once. And the idea here is to just get all the solids out so that you can take the liquid and put it in the fridge to cool until the fat solidifies on the top, because you're going to want to remove that. Now that we skimmed off most of the fat, we're going to transfer it to a pot and get it heated up to a simmer. While our stock is heating to a simmer, we're going to get our jars and our pressure canner ready. You want your jars to be hot because you don't want to add a simmering liquid to a cold jar. It could crack or break. So now that my jars are heated up in my pressure canner, I'm going to take them out and empty the water and get them ready to be filled. You want to make sure that you're leaving about 1 inch headspace on your jars And then you're gonna just wipe the rim, make sure it's clean. Put your lid on, fingertip tight. We're gonna put our jars in the pressure canner, 2 inches of water in the bottom. And for pint jars, you're gonna want to cook these in the pressure cooker for 20 minutes at 10 pounds pressure. Now that these are done, I'm gonna let them sit on the counter overnight, and then in the morning, I'm gonna bring all but one down into our cold room. And then with that one that I leave out, I'll show you how to make cream of chicken soup. To begin making our condensed cream of chicken soup, we're gonna start with a cup of milk. I'm just gonna heat it up in the microwave for about 45 seconds so it's more room temperature and it doesn't curdle when we add it to our recipe. So now we're gonna take this and set it aside, and then we're gonna take a saucepan and we're gonna add 4 tablespoons of butter and melt that. Now that our butter is melted, we're gonna add half a cup of flour gradually and continuously mix that for about 3 or 4 minutes. So you want this to look kind of like a wet sand type texture, and then you're gonna remove it from the heat and start adding some of your chicken stock. You wanna add about half of it, whisk it in really good, and then add the next half. So once that is smooth and combined well, then we're gonna add it back to the heat. We're gonna add our milk and our spices. So now that the milk's combined, we're gonna turn our heat up to medium-high, and then we're gonna add our spices. It's half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of garlic powder, half a teaspoon of celery salt, half a teaspoon of onion powder, and then half a teaspoon of black pepper. So now you want to continuously whisk this on medium-high heat until you start to see it thicken and become that condensed, creamy chicken goodness.
So what are you using it for tonight?
I'm going to use it to make a chicken and rice casserole, but if you're not using it right away, you can store it in the fridge for up to a week or in the freezer for up to 4 months. I would love to be able to can it, but dairy products just aren't safe to can. So although you have to whisk it continuously, it really only takes like 3 or 4 minutes to get it to thicken up to the consistency that you would expect. And this does make the equivalent of 2 cans of condensed cream of chicken soup. I started making this from scratch because I didn't want to buy the cans from the store that are full of preservatives and additives and everything else when I've been working so hard to grow our own food at home and make healthy from scratch meals. But I can tell you that this is much more full of flavor and delicious than anything you can buy from the store or in a can. So go ahead and try it out at home and leave a comment below and let us know how it worked out for you and what you thought. That's going to be it for today's video, but if you enjoyed it, please consider liking and subscribing if you haven't already, and we'll see you next time. Bye! I'm leaving my kitchen now!